What's up, everyone? Eli here. I got a pretty big collection update video for you today. I got a bunch of stuff I got from my local thrift store earlier, and then a bunch of stuff that I got from my local record store was having a huge sale on like anything used in the store, which was funny because this fucking place, I've been going there for like 20 something years. I don't think they've ever had a sale ever. So I think they just had like too much used shit, just clogging up the fucking store. So that was really cool. It was really, really cheap. They just wanted to kind of purge as much of their used shit as they could. So I spent like $15 or something and got a whole stack of shit. So anyways, we'll get on to that in a second. What we're listening to, you might not be able to hear it yet because it kind of just started, but we have a Bulgarian black metal band called I can't remember if it's Bagator or Bagathor. It's B-A-G-A-T-U-R or B-A-G-A-T-H-U-R. I can't remember. But it's really, really cool stuff. Like really dreamy pagan black metal. You have a woman who does all the vocals and wrote all the lyrics and everything, and then you have a guy who did all the music. And I guess if you like symphonic black metal, I think you could probably dig this. It's not real loud in the background, so I don't know if you can hear it. I'm sorry. But anyways, I do have them in my store. I really like this one. Came out on Winter Solace, limited to 300 copies. The woman that does the vocals and the lyrics did the artwork as well, so she's a very talented young lady, of course. Cool stuff, man. I'd never heard it until recently, so I'm kind of stuck on it right now. Anyways, lately also I've been doing a lot of reading. Fuck, man, growing up I loved reading. I read so many. I was always reading. I read more than I did anything else. More than I watched TV, more than I watched movies. Just fucking loved it. And for like, goddamn, for like maybe close to 20 years, I've just been kind of slacking on that. I've read a book here and there, and I've always just felt bad about it. Like I feel like reading is a really important thing. I feel like everyone should do it. I don't know. When I don't read, I just feel like I'm missing out on something I should be doing. So I've been getting back into that. It's been awesome. I actually kind of went and just reread some books that I bought years ago, just for the hell of it. This one I enjoyed a lot more than I remember the first time. It's not without its flaws, but it's a nice, easy fucking read. It's a fairly short book. We got Choosing Death, the Improbable History of Death Metal and Grindcore, written by Albert Mudrian, he's like I think he's the founder of Decibel Magazine. Introduction by John Peel. John Peel seems like a cool motherfucker, by the way. The foreword or introduction or whatever they wrote, and it just makes him seem really cool. Anyways, this is basically, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's not a book that goes real deep into like, listing as many bands as it can. It kind of just focuses on the major players, and it's probably not a whole lot. If you've been into death metal for a long time, there might not be a lot here for you to learn, but guaranteed there's probably something you didn't know, and it's like I said, it was an easy read, enjoyable book anyways, so glad I reread it. I also reread this. I bought this fucking also years ago, and it's okay. It doesn't delve too much into like any kind of obscure heavy metal, but Sound of the Beast, the complete headbanging history of heavy metal by Ian Christie. Not really familiar with Ian Christie, although the name does sound familiar. Anyways, it's a decent book. God damn, it came out in like 2010 maybe? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Check it out if you want, if you like, not only listening to heavy metal, but reading about it. It's worth a read. And lately I am reading, I just got this not too long ago, Lucifer Rising, Sin, Devil Worship, and Rock and Roll, written by Gavin Badaley. Some pretty cool cover art there. Not a real long book. The print is really small. which kind of bothers me. You know, I as you know, it's fairly obvious I don't have the best fucking vision, and yeah, the print's fairly small, so I got to put my face in this thing. But it's a decent read so far. I'm really enjoying it. And also, I bought this movie, I don't know, a year or two ago, and I kind of breezed through it, I guess, when I brought it home the night that I got it. And I don't know what the fuck I was thinking, because I rewatched it a couple weeks ago, and god damn, I am just completely infatuated with this. One of the best documentaries I've ever seen. You have Jodorowsky's Dune Blu-ray there. Oh man, where would it even start? Yeah, if you're not familiar with Alejandro Jodorowsky, he's a filmmaker from Chile. He did some movies in like the 60s and 70s, maybe even into the 80s. He really kind of abstract, arty type films, which 20 years ago, or even 10 years ago, I wouldn't have ever thought I'd be into anything like that, but I am obsessed with his fucking movies, man. And you may not know this, but back in the 70s, he was working on a Dune movie. It didn't. Long story short, this isn't a spoiler or anything, but the movie didn't get made, and that's what the documentary is all about. It's about a movie that didn't get made and what it could have been. And goddamn, dude, this fucking thing. Whether you are into Dune or Jodorowsky, it doesn't matter, man. If you're into movies, you need to watch this, because it is fucking mind-blowing. So, as it says on the cover. Yeah, check it out, dude, please. Anyways, on to the shit that I've got. We'll start with the music, I guess. This is kind of basically, all this stuff is like prog and like hard rock. Which is, you guys might know by now. I'm not big into hard rock. Some of the 80s stuff is cool. I did grow up with it. But I've been kind of progressively getting into prog over the last, literally 20 years. And I still haven't barely cracked the surface. But that's what a lot of this is, which I think is kind of cool. This video is probably also not going to get very many views, because I've done some prog videos before and they don't. But that's not the point. I don't do videos to, max out in views. I don't give a fuck about that. I guess we'll start with the cassettes. So if you want to see the vinyl, you'll have to wait. I'll hold you hostage. I kind of have this organized. I don't know. Anyways, I bought a bunch of cassettes. I think I got these for like $1 a piece at the record store. Genesis, Abacab. Love it. I've owned it on other formats for years and years. If you're not real familiar with Genesis, this is one of their Phil Collins era popular albums, but it's still got its prog touches. I like it a lot. I think the diehard Genesis fans that are only into the Peter Gabriel stuff probably hate it, but I like it. It's not my favorite Genesis album, but I listen to it a lot. I do like it. Blue Oyster Cult Mirrors. I have a lot of BOC, and I don't have this. In fact, I've never heard it, so that'll be cool. We got Alan Parsons Live. They're the very best of Alan Parsons Live. Pretty cool. I like the layout and stuff. We got Audio Visions by Kansas. I think this is a 1980 album. Yeah, I've never heard it. It's probably, I don't know. It's probably not a great album, but whatever. I might like it, who knows. Got a couple Triumph tapes. I'm not huge into Triumph. I have one of their CDs. I like it from time to time. They have songs that I really like, and then they have songs that I'm not so into, but I haven't heard either of these, so it'll be cool just to listen to them. We got Armed Forces, and we got Just a Game. I know these are both very popular with the Triumph fans, so it'd be cool to hear. I have this on vinyl already, but for $0.25, whatever. Got Mike Oldfield, Tubular Bells. Mike Oldfield, famous for creating the Exorcist theme music. We got Yes, Union, This is like one of their 90s albums, I think, early 90s. I actually think this album's all right. I've had it on CD for quite a while. It's not their best stuff, but it's actually not their worst either. I think it's decent. From time to time, I'll pull it out. Yes, 90125. I'm a big fan of this one. This was, if I remember correctly, this was like their big breakthrough into the more poppy side of the band. I think this was kind of a crossover record for them. I could be wrong. They might have started doing that before this. This is where I remember them, kind of getting out of the very complex and quirky prog, and kind of start getting into more like 80s pop sounds, but still having a little bit of a progressive edge. This thing I never even knew existed, to be honest. We have Glory Road by Gillan, Ian Gillan, of course. This is cool, man. It's a Metal Blade release, and this tape came out in 1980, which I did not know Metal Blade were out in 1980. That was crazy to me. I knew they were around in like 83, 84, but fucking 1980? That must be like the year that they started. I don't know. Blew my mind, anyways. Ian Gillan, I think we all know, famous frontman of Deep Purple and Black Sabbath for an album, legendary singer. We got Vangelis, Chariots of Fire. This is a original soundtrack for the movie. I've never even heard of the movie. I'm a big Vangelis fan, so anything I can find, any of his work, I'll pick up just on a whim. Marillion, B-sides themselves. Yeah, obviously it's a compilation of B-sides from they're from England, I think. I've only really started to get into Marillion, and they were kind of a hard sell for me at first, but I'm coming along. I've never bought an 8-track before, but I think this was like 10 cents, and it is one of my favorite albums of all time. Tarkus, Emerson, Lake and Palmer. And you're probably wondering, like, dude, what the fuck are you gonna do with an 8-track? And you're right to ask that. Not much, but my buddy Brandon, he's got an 8-track player in his Bronco, so this will be handy for the once every 2 years that I ride in it with him. I'm just gonna, next time I get in that thing, I'm just gonna leave this in there forever, and that's all he's gonna be allowed to listen to. Fucking great album though. I got a couple CDs as well, just 2. We got Yes with The Ladder. I think this is a 90s album as well. 99 actually. I had never heard it before. I didn't care for it, man. Couldn't get into this, not gonna lie. As much as I love Yes, they do have some shit that I just cannot wrap my head around. And also, I've been wanting this thing for a long time, actually, so it was cool for me to finally stumble upon it. Got the original soundtrack for Dune, David Lynch's Dune. Terrible movie, but decent soundtrack. With Toto did almost all the music for it, and I'm a big Toto fan. Brian Eno did 1 track, but Toto did the rest. So, for my Toto collection. Moving on to vinyl. We have, this one's cool. I've never heard of this, never listened to it yet, but we got Genesis, In the Beginning. I only kind of breezed through the back, so I can't say too much about it. Obviously, it's very, very early Genesis stuff. I don't know if it's tracks that appeared on any of their other albums, or if it's like stuff that never made it onto an album. I don't want to waste your time and read through this again and just sit here and fumble. But yeah, maybe you might know more than me about it, but yeah. Big Genesis fan, obviously. I had to get that. And these were all super cheap, man. I got all of these for like $1 or $2 a piece. We got a Genesis single. That's All. It's got Taking It All Too Hard and Firth of Fifth. Came out in 1983. Next, we got Genesis, and Then There Were Three, full-length album. I like, there's a couple tracks on here I really like, but overall, I think this album had a lot of potential, personally, but I think it kind of falls short of its potential. We got Duke. Gotta love that cover art, man. It's like a children's book or something, but I always found it kind of bizarre, personally. But Duke it's another one of Genesis, you know, more poppy albums. Came out in 1980, so one of their earlier poppy albums. But even, personally, I think that even Genesis, their poppier material, I think always maintained, you know, kind of a progressive edge to it. And honestly, you know, the Phil Collins era stuff, I like all of it. Some of it a lot more than some of the others, but I'm a fan. I mean, yeah, I definitely prefer like Foxtrot, but I grew up on the Phil Collins era Genesis, so I guess I might be partial to it. Another single, Illegal Alien. You might remember that song. We got Illegal Alien and Turn It On Again, specially extended new live version. That came from their self-titled album, by the way. Never heard this album or any of this guy's solo work, but we got Tony Banks, The Fugitive. I only got this because Tony Banks was in Genesis, keyboard player, I'm pretty sure. I'm terrible with names, but yeah, this is, from what I understand, it's a pop album from 1983, so I might hate it, I might like it. We'll see when I get to listening to it. Here's another band that kind of... Sorry, I gotta stretch my knee, man. My knee has been fucked lately. This is kind of a reoccurring band throughout my channel that if you don't know me super well, this may become a sort of a shock to you, but I'm a pretty big Asia fan. So we have Alpha. I think this is their second album, second or third, but yeah. You gotta love Roger Dean cover art. He's by no means one of my favorite artists, but I do like his work just because it's, I don't know, it's iconic, basically. I think if he weren't kind of tied to some of my favorite bands, I probably, if I were just to see like a book of all these paintings, I probably wouldn't really care that much for it. But I'm a sucker for any kind of Roger Dean cover art, basically. Here's a band that I never thought I would own anything from. This is just a total random find. I've only heard a little bit of these guys years back, but we got Starcastle with Citadel. Oh, look at that cover art, man. Starcastle, they sound a lot like Yes. Personally, I think they sound more like Yes without the fluff. They're kind of more of a, I mean, it's still very complex prog, but more muscular, maybe. I'm not sure. I'm not the best at. First of all, I'm not an expert on this band, and I don't know if I've heard this album specifically, but I just remember them sounding a lot like Yes, but kind of, like I said, without some of the, you know, the fluff. If that makes any sense. Cool band though. I can't wait to listen to that one. You might also know that I'm a big Tangerine Dream fan, so I just, anytime I see anything they've done that I don't have, I snag it up. I mean, they have like 6,000 releases. It's overwhelming, but Tangram is what this album's called. I think this is one of their 70s albums, 1980. So yeah, haven't ever heard that one. This one I basically, it was really cheap, and I pretty much bought this just strictly on the cover and like the layout. We got Pentangle with Cruel Sister. I mean, you know, I was very intrigued by the cover art. How can you not be? I did do a little bit of research, just kind of quickly, as before I bought it. They are they're a British like folk band, I guess, which means, I mean, there's a pretty good chance that I will just absolutely fucking hate it. But I paid like 50 cents for it, so whatever. I don't like it. I'll pass it on down to someone else. This was on sale too. My record store, the one by my house, they did not sell a lot of the record store day shit that they got this year, and I think they realized maybe they ordered too much or something like that. So they had a lot sitting around ever since record store day, just sitting there, no one showing any interest in it. So they put that stuff on sale, like 25% off or something. This thing was already fairly cheap, believe it or not. Sometimes you get lucky, I guess. So with I got it, you know, relatively cheap after the discount and everything. Never had owned this album and never had heard it prior to buying it, oddly enough, but we have the debut Yes album. Just self-titled, very cool. They did a really, really good job. Of course, I mean, it's a record store day version, so, you know, they made it pretty. I'll show you. I don't buy a lot of record store day releases, but this one I needed. The gatefold there, and it's nice, sturdy. Sorry, guys. Just got some lyrics. Printed insert there, and we have the vinyl looks great too. It's like a reddish orange, very pretty. For the longest time, I thought the Yes album was their debut. For the longest time, I didn't know they had a self-titled album called Yes. Not the Yes album, just Yes. I know. And I've been into these guys for quite a while. I have all 3 of their CDs, so I snagged these in a heartbeat. Was actually really excited to see them. We got Captain Beyond with, what's this one? This one's the self-titled, I think. I think it's their debut. But yeah, Captain Beyond, man. British kind of hard rock / prog band. I fucking love these guys. This album had Rod Evans on vocals. Rod Evans was... he was in Deep Purple for a while. As far as the rest of the dudes, I don't know. I don't know their background too much. But anyways, this album, the first time I heard it, you know, just to put it real simply, it kind of sounded like maybe Lynyrd Skynyrd listening to a whole bunch of Rush. It kind of has that Lynyrd Skynyrd-y kind of southern swagger rock, but it's very complex. And it has some kind of Rush-esque, kind of semi-proggy moments. Drummer is amazing. You know, these guys aren't your typical 70s rock band. I mean, these guys are all, you know, very good musicians, and, you know, it is kind of simple rock music, but they are definitely adding some complex layers to it. It's great. You know, if you're kind of a hard rock fan and you've never, you know, been too into prog, get this, because it's not gonna, you know, it's not gonna bore you. It's not gonna overwhelm you. It's just a great album. And this is their 3rd album, Dawn Explosion. This one's basically considered, it seems to be the general consensus that, like, this is their, like most fans, this is their least favorite out of the 3, but I think it's still really fucking good. I might agree. They have, you know, like I said, they have 3 albums. I'd probably listen to this one, you know, a little less than the other 2, but it's still really good. I mean, if those are, you know, 9 out of 10 albums, this is still like an 8 out of 10. So that gives you an idea. Different lineup on this one, by the way. Rod Evans left. Can't remember if he left before the second or after the second, but there are a couple lineup changes, but man, fucking great stuff. And I will just get on to some loot that I picked up at the thrift store. I'll just show you because I think it's some cool stuff. I got the Spine-Chilling Tales of Horror. It is it's a book on tape, I guess you could call it. Audio, yeah. It's pretty cool. It's just like a classic stories, just like a compilation of classic stories. One of these, or a couple of these, is actually voiced by Vincent Price, so I thought that was really cool. But yeah, they got the Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. They got some excerpts from Frankenstein. They got The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, The Ghost Ship, The Flying Dutchman, The Spectral Ship, and Bernice by Edgar Allan Poe, and The Gold Bug by Edgar Allan Poe. So I think it'll actually be a pretty fun listen. I am a fan of that stuff, so... got a couple books as well. Was really, really surprised to see a book from this author anywhere in my area, just because her writing is so fucking morbid, and I love the shit out of her. Her name is Poppy Z. Bright, and this is Wormwood. Haven't read it, don't even really know anything about it, but when I see Poppy Z. Bright on any cover, man, I grab. Dude, she is amazing. Very morbid, very graphic, very disgusting. I mean, her writing is just gnarly. So, yeah, I'm really fucking stoked to read the shit out of that. And then I got this massive motherfucker. It's got to be like 2,000 pages, man. It's bigger than the goddamn Bible. The Penguin Book of Victorian Villainies. Look at the cover. Very cool. Very cool. There's just a shitload of stories. Shitload of old horror stories, basically. I won't get too into it, but God, look at that motherfucker. Dude, you could kill somebody with it. Got a couple VHS tapes. As you know, I've been really having a blast collecting these again for the first time in like 20 years. I already had these two actually, but I picked them up for a buddy. But I got The Abyss and The Blair Witch Project, two of my favorite movies. And I got a couple DVDs. I mean, super fucking cheap as well. All this stuff was, dude, I probably paid less than $30 for everything I just showed you. South Park Season 2 is what it is, right? I loved South Park growing up. I haven't watched it in a long fucking time. South Park Season 1. Got the Dawn of the Dead remake, the one with Ving Rhames. This one came out with like the early 2000s. I actually think this one was really fucking good. And I've owned this several times. I must just fucking lose it or something, but I didn't have it, so I grabbed it. And yeah, like I said, I actually, as far as remakes go, I think this is one of the better. I always enjoy it. Random ass thing here. I didn't know anything about this, but I love Bad Religion. So we have Along the Way, Bad Religion DVD. I don't even know what's on it. I don't know. Be cool to watch though. I fucking love Bad Religion. They have a new album out too. I don't know if anyone knows anything about it. If anyone's heard it, how is it? I actually haven't heard their last couple releases, but I've heard they've been pretty solid. So I'd really like to hear it. This I actually bought a couple of months ago, and I just forgot to show you guys. But wanted to pick this up on Blu-ray. I used to have it on DVD, and I don't know, I lost it or something. We got Shaun of the Dead, like a steelbook edition. Really cool, like kind of comic booky type art. It's nothing special. I mean, it's got the Blu-ray version and the DVD. We all know Shaun of the Dead. We all love it. It's fucking great. Season 5, Ren and Stimpy, still in the wrapper, which is odd, man. When the fuck did this come out? 1995. Why did nobody open this? That's fucking gnarly. But anyways, I grew up on Ren and Stimpy. I was obsessed for years with this fucking show. I haven't seen it in probably over 15 years, but goddamn was I obsessed with this show. So it'll be cool to kind of relive that shit. Got Ringu 2. I don't even think I have Ringu 1, but I've always wanted to see them, so I don't know. I don't know if this would be a good place to start, but I've said before, but I love The Ring, the American version of The Ring. I think it's great. It probably hasn't aged real well, but for when it came out, I thought it was awesome. And I've seen they made a sequel, American remake sequel as well, and that was a piece of shit. So this will be cool to see, just to kind of rectify that. I remember seeing this movie a long time ago, and it'd be cool to rewatch it. Got Spirited Away. This is a very classic and very very cult favorite animated movie. I remember thinking it was really cool. I liked it back then, so I mean, it'll be cool to rewatch it. And I think this is the last thing I got for you guys. Kind of breezed through that pretty well, didn't I? I had vaguely heard of this movie, but I didn't really hear any details. But I found it kind of intriguing, so of course I grabbed it. Good Night, Mommy. This is a was it France? Anyways, it's not an American movie. God damn, I'm sorry, I can't remember. It might be France. Might be a French movie. But anyways, I don't want to give you any spoilers or anything like that. I'm not real good at not giving spoilers, so I won't say too much about it, but I liked it. It was a good movie. It's definitely worth watching. It's basically about this family who gets in a car accident, a mother and two sons, and the mother suffers a lot of injuries to her face. She had to have basically like reconstructive surgery to her face, and basically the mother and the kids go home so everyone can recover and get on with their lives, and the twin boys think that ever since they got home, they think that the mom is just not herself, to the point where they begin to wonder if it's even their mom that came back with them from the hospital, or if it's somebody else. And that's all I'm going to say, because I don't want to ruin it for you. If you haven't seen it, it's a cool movie. If you go and watch this, let me know what you think. And yeah, that's all I got, guys. That's my thrift store loot. It was a good score, actually. But anyways, I got some really cool ideas for some videos coming up. I'm trying to kind of break free of my laziness and just getting comfortable with kind of doing the same thing over and over again. Collection updates, collection videos. I have some ideas that go beyond that, which I think is good. I think nobody wants to watch the same videos over and over again. So yeah, pretty excited. Hopefully within the next couple weeks I'll get some of those out. And hopefully you guys like them. If not, just give us something to talk about. So anyways, thanks for watching. Thanks for stopping by, and take care. We'll talk soon.